we may get the benefit of a lot of money that would go to other states and stuff like that on a national basis. So I'm thinking that we turn right around and we go like hell. We know what we're doing. We know what we need to do, and we get it on the ballot next year, and we make this a state's election, a referendum on marijuana law reform in the United States.
How do you feel about making this a national campaign next year? I mean, making this an issue in Washington State that is attracting the support nationwide from people like us.
I want to do that, and I think that we're doing it. Like the web presence that we've had, people that I talked to about that said you won't be national until you're out for a year. We took steps like, I don't know how many of you know about Fire Dog Lake, but Fire Dog Lake picked us up. And we talked to Jane Hampshire, who runs that, and we talked with her and we said, we want to do more with you in the coming year, moving forward. They're going to be on board. And that's a fairly powerful grassroots East Coast media, and it tends to stir some things up. And we've got friends in Colorado. We've got friends that run Safer. We've got a lot of people that if we get on the ballot, they're going to come out here and help us. We have Sensible Colorado. I mean, we've got Brian Vicente. We've got Mason Bird. Some of you may know from the Safer campaign. Normal. We've got a lot of people that are going to start coming in to help us out if we get on the ballot. And there's a million ways and a million good ways to argue people into voting for us in November, and we'll use all of those ways, I think. But what you're talking about is exactly what we need to do. It's the plan. I think that one of the ideas that's been put forth is to get us back out on track early. And to that end, what I want to do is I want to ask everybody, I know we just went through this and we just pushed really hard and we didn't make any stuff. We've got a very short time period to kind of recharge our batteries and watch some escape movies and read some trashy novels and get our engines back going, because I would like to announce that we are doing this again and that we are going to be, bringing it on at HempFest. I think that we should just turn right around at HempFest and say, we're here, we're not going anywhere, we're coming back, we're doing it again, we're going to start raising money for the organization right now, and we just go, all right, that's it, and we just start moving forward, put our heads down and start again, just like HempFest, where we take a month off and then, start it up again. So I think that's what we need to do. If anybody disagrees with a HempFest launch, think about it, let me know if you're up for it. Let's do it. We'll need a lot of volunteers at HempFest. You like? Look, this is the #1 populist issue in the country. For Christ's sakes, get on board. And when you plug in, and that's the other thing I think we need to realize is it's not just about smoking marijuana or protecting medical marijuana patients. It's about the farmers. It's about hemp. We've got to get the message out that the hemp side of this is just as important, because people are talking about green jobs and saving the planet and all that kind of stuff, and hemp is unbelievable. They make concrete out of it, there are all sorts of things, and it's not allowed to be grown in this country because of prohibition. We're screwing our own farmers.
And it's about truth and justice.
Right.
Who can't get behind that?
Moral issues. Well, I mean, people are starting to have problems with the idea that you can buy cigarettes and alcohol and nobody goes to jail, but you're smoking marijuana and people are going to prison. They're starting to realize there might be a moral issue there. There might be a moral imperative there. It might be wrong to send people to prison for, nonviolent drug, behavior. That is something that is, that notion is building, and you're seeing it a lot. People are like, well, I really think they need to fix that. That's wrong. And when you tell them about how much money it is costing them, and that is another thing, by the way, that you need to be really aware of. The budget is at the bone, all right? Next year in this state, they have already cut the fat, whatever the fat was. If it was ever really there, it's out of the budget now. They are at the bone. They are losing public safety type job slots now. King County Prosecutor's Office is looking at, you know, massive layoffs. It is a really difficult time economically. That makes our argument stronger and gives us another serious, you know, bunch of arrows in our quiver. We're saving, you know, over $100 million a year instantly and guaranteed. There's no way they can argue you out of it. There's no doubt about it. It's not hypothetical. Maybe if you only do this, maybe if you do the decrim reform, maybe if there's a fine, maybe blah, blah, blah. Those are chicken shit, small dollar things. This is the whole ball game. This is $120 million, probably $150 million of instant savings. You instantly remove their, and it's absolutely guaranteed because they cannot charge, you know, you don't have the penalties. You can't charge the crimes, you don't have the penalties, they're gone. You can't run the cases, you can't spend the money. Even if they wanted to screw up and not save the money, this somehow, they automatically have to save the money. You're not giving them a choice. That's the other thing about this initiative that's so important for people to remember. It's guaranteed absolute savings. Wow, that song feels great.
And I'd like to make the connection between the repeal of alcohol prohibition, the Great Depression,
Right on.
and the economic crisis then.
Right on, and it's there. It's there. Same thing happens. He just notes, you know, what was the year that Prohibition got repealed again? 33. Whoa, 1933. Wasn't that the just about beginning of the Great Depression? I think it was, right. So there you go. You're looking at, you know, your historical parallels. You know, when people don't have any money, they can't spend it on stupid shit like locking people up for doing stuff that they don't like. There's another thing, you know, you can tell people, look, we got to start locking people up in this country that we're scared of, not that we just don't like, you know, or that we're just mad at. You just can't, you know, you don't throw somebody in prison for 20 years just because you're mad at them. You put them in prison for 20 years because you're scared shitless that they get out, they're going to kill you, your wife, your whole family, and the dog. That's what a use of criminal justice money is for. Not for putting people in that don't do anything to anybody else and never hurt anybody for any reason.
Along those lines, we do, I mean, outside of this group of more informed people, there still are people out there who are afraid of people who use drugs, who think that they are scary and that, you know, if you smoke pot, that's gonna automatically lead to criminal behavior, and that's why we're locking people up. And so we need to like really get the PR out there and really address those fears and make sure people understand what reality is.
And it would
that
be,
we get past the scare.
Absolutely, and it would be really great, and you know, Normal's tried it and everybody's tried it, but what I was saying at the beginning of this like whole thing, there's a lady that I met because of Sensible Washington named Mary Claire Kirsten, and many of you may know her. And she lives out on the island, and you know, she's a very nice lady, attractive, 50-ish,
Prim and proper.
something kind of prim and proper, Catholic. You know, works at her church, worked on, you know, little leagues and big Girl Scout troop leader and everything. And she was a signature gatherer, and she started, you know, people were like, oh, how can this be? Are you some kind of pot smoker? And you know, I mean, my God, not Mary Claire, you know. I mean, that's what I was talking about. The people that are worried about the other people that smoke pot and stuff, when they see somebody like you, or like Mary Claire, or like you, or any of you standing out there, it's like, wow, these are normal people, you know. These people smoke pot, and they're not, you know, drooling, and they're not carrying guns, and they're not killing people, and they're not, you know, wearing bikinis, and you know, they're not all a bunch of strippers, and you know, I mean, it's
Hey,
what
what do you
people.
got against strippers?
Or bikinis.
What indeed?
I have nothing against anybody or any articles of clothing. You know, I don't get into that level of micromanagement, but. I do think that's the key point I was making earlier. You guys are what mainstreamed the issue. You're what changed people's minds. They saw their neighbors out there trying to get marijuana legalized, and they suddenly realized, shit, everybody smokes pot.